Top 5 haunted places in the world you should never visit. Hello and welcome back to Curiosity Lounge. Before we start, hit that red subscribe button so that you never miss out on any of our videos. Some may look a little cheap, but they are full of actors dressed as ghouls, goblins, and mad scientists. But there are some reputed places around the world. Some of these places are mysterious and have legends that have been passed down for centuries. Others are much newer, but infiltrated into their tragic past. Whether these places date back to the 12th or 20th century, each has an interesting history with many ghost sightings and eerie experiences. Ghost hunters around the world try to glimpse ghosts wandering through ghostly corridors, hear mysterious voices in empty rooms, and feel cold while exploring dark corridors. Fortunately, many haunted places can be used for public tours and overnight stays. Wherever you are in the world, haunted houses, hotels, or ancient historic sites may be waiting for your visit. Not only is the U.S. flooded with cold places, from Winchester Mystery House in California to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, but there are many eerie destinations beyond the pond. Ghosts, strange sounds and lights, and even UFO experiences have been reported in these famous places in the UK, France, Germany, Romania, and even Australia and China. Here are the top 5 haunted places in the world you should never visit. 1. Ancient Ram Inn, Gloucestershire, England. This inn was built in 1145. This place is said to be one of the busiest homes in the British Isles, if not the busiest home in the world. The story of ancient Ram Inn tells the story of a time when children were sacrificed and demon worship was seen from the walls of ancient Ram Inn. Due to the overwhelming amount of satanic worship, it is believed by the owners and the visitors that these evil spirits have never left the building. What makes this building even creepier is the fact that the ancient Ram Inn was constructed on a 5,000-year-old pagan burial ground. Present-day visitors claim that they have been violently touched, disembodied voices have been heard, and actual spirits have been seen. 2. Poveglia Island, Italy. The island was inhabited in 421, and more people settled on the land. Hundreds of years later, in the 14th century, the entire island was finally abandoned and made available to new residents. The island was used as a quarantine colony for people suffering from bubonic plague. Thousands died on this island. During the 1800s, the island was switched into an insane asylum where mistreatment and secret experiments were done on the mentally ill patients. Locals say that a doctor also committed suicide from all the guilt he felt for mistreating the patients, that he jumped off the bell tower of the building. The asylum closed in the 1970s and ever since then has been abandoned. Locals refuse to enter the island, let alone sail near it, due to the paranormal activity. The Ghost Adventures crew were one of the bravest that just recently visited the island for a shoot. 3. Island of the Dolls, Xochimilco, Mexico. The Island of the Dolls on Lake Teshuiro in Xochimilco, Mexico City is one of the strangest haunted places in the world. In the 1950s, a man named Julian Santan Valera moved to the island with his family, including his wife and young children. Unbeknownst to Julian, the land he had just moved on had a dark past. The old legend states that 3 young girls were playing near the water in the 1920s when one of the girls fell in and drowned. Locals of the island believe that ever since her death, the young girl's spirit has been unable to leave the island and haunts the lands. The locals are terrified to go near the island and believe that she still inhabits it. Julian believed that as soon as he moved on the island, the little girl who had supposedly died grew a strong connection to him. This is where the name of the island comes in. Julian began to get the dolls for this little girl, often selling off the fruit and vegetables that he had grown on the island so that he could buy old dolls for her to play with. He would hang these dolls all over the island, including inside of the house he and his young family lived in. One day, it is said that Julian told his nephew that he could not appease the little girl's overwhelming addiction to the dolls, and she wanted him to join her to play with them. The next day, when the nephew came back to see Julian, he had found him dead, drowned face down in the murky water. Today, the visitors come to see the strange islands where there are thousands of dolls hung everywhere. According to locals, it is believed that Julian now haunts the island alongside that little girl. 4. Monte Cristo Homestead, New South Wales, Australia. The house has experienced so many tragic and violent deaths, all of which are happening inside the house and are grounded in their own right. For this reason, Monte Cristo Homestead is considered Australia's most haunted place. There have been several people who have died suddenly with no explanation, accidental deaths that are unbelievable coincidental. Even though many of these deaths have been considered natural, there is no sort of source of homicide while others have been murdered. This is why the locals believe the estate is haunted. Spirits have been seen, lights have been on when no one was inside. This building is a legend of Australia and rightfully so. 5. The Tower of London, London, England. The Tower of London dates back to 1078. This fortress, as well as a royal palace, has had plenty of time to muster up many paranormal experiences. The building was used to house the royal family, as well as a famous execution site for the king, one of the most famous, Henry VIII, who had 6 wives throughout his life, who were all closely related to him through blood. He had a thing for killing all his wives when he felt fit. One of his wives was Anne Boleyn, who was beheaded in the courtyard of the Tower of London while her husband and close friends and concubines watched. Even though Anne Boleyn is one of the most famous spirits believed to still be inhabiting the lands, looking for her children there, are many other famous ghosts seen here, including the headless ghost of Anne Boleyn, as well as along with Lady Jane Grey and 2 princes believed to have been murdered by their uncle Richard III in 1483 because the uncle wanted to obtain the throne. The Tower of London is still a huge tourist site today and is visited by thousands every day. Visitors claim to feel faint when near certain areas of the building and also see period-dressed children running around playing. That's all for today. I hope you liked the video. If you did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so that you never miss any amazing video from us.